they're 2 or 3 years in?
Yeah, so I had an absolutely awesome experience at BCG. I think I alluded to the types of projects I worked on. The cool thing about consulting is uh, you're just meeting so many smart people because you're often working on various teams. And in some ways, it feels like a big networking session because you're meeting with a bunch of smart people that then either stay at BCG or go on to do really cool things. And I think just like I'm like 2 years out from BCG and I'm just starting to see that network kind of blossom. But like, I guess things to kind of keep in mind, I briefly talked about in terms of diversity of experiences, you get a lot at BCG, and that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking banking versus consulting. Is I think banking is more of a homogenous experience. Yes, you're working on like a sell side versus a private placement, but like to the person who's hardcore in finance, that seems like a lot of diversity. To the guy who is not in finance, it just seems like you're working in transactions. Whereas in consulting, like I worked on my first project in Bangkok, we were helping with a corp dev decision on entering the US via acquisition. My second project, we were looking at what are different avenues of revenue generation that the state government of Alaska can take to boost the company's revenues or the state's revenues. Then I did some tech strategy work at a couple of very large tech firms around like what are various business initiatives they could be taking, and that included both things from top line revenue generating items to organizational restructuring. And then I did a bunch of private equity due diligence cases, which were actually also very different. Like some were for growth equity firms and thinking about how to think about a growth investment, whereas one was for a restructuring firm, one was for a roll-up play. So and that was just in a year and a half. It was a lot of exposure to a lot of different things and like just like decisions and business problems that I didn't even know existed. And now I got to spend time and go a little deep in them, which was a really good experience. And then the other thing I really enjoyed about consulting is you're working in a team setting. So it'll normally be like 2 to 5 junior people and then 1 manager. And you guys are traveling together. You're spending a lot of time together in the team room. Like you get very close. People tend to be really nice, friendly people. That's something they really test for in the interview process. So you make a lot of really good friends also when you're doing that. And that itself is a very good experience as well.